Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CX Accelerator Show. We've got a good one for you today on one of my favorite topics. Erica, we're talking about when somebody finally gets the courage to get over that hump and start to share the great things that they're learning in the CX world. Don't you love to see that happen?
I love to see it, and I can't really think of a better topic with all the activity we've had going on lately in the community in the
Mm.
speakers experience cohort that Sarah Caminiti's been leading.
Shout out,
Oh,
Sarah.
she's on fire with that. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited to bring this topic over to the podcast because as we all know, public speaking is I think the number one most common fear people have. But it's such an important skill, I think, especially for CX professionals, because we've got to be out there telling our stories, you know? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today and kind of, like Nate said, how you can get over that hump if you have encountered a little bit of imposter syndrome, perhaps. We're going to talk about that today, too. So it's going to be fun. Nate, before we dive in, I know you've got a story of your own about your journey into speaking. So, care to share it with our listeners?
Yeah. And, early shout out to Jenny Dempsey and Jeremy Watkin, because before I was able to speak, I started to try to write. And the first ever blog that I really tried to put out there was a dream collaboration with Jenny and Jeremy. They didn't know me from Adam, and I just put a concept out to them, and they let me co-blog with them on a really fun piece. And that for me was such a turning point in terms of my confidence and my ability to start to take the wonderful things that I was experiencing as a customer service leader inside of UL and start to be able to give those out to these hungry folks that were coming along in the CX world. And so huge shout out to Jenny and Jeremy. So as I grew in my chops as a writer, uh, of course, I started to want to be able to articulate some of these things as well. And I did Toastmasters, Erica, if you can believe that.
No way.
Yeah. So we had a little Toastmasters club at the building that I worked in. It wasn't even with our company. It was with another company. And so I jumped into that and just really fell in love with the art and science of being able to verbally communicate a message. And so I did that for like 3 years, Erica, and that was a big turning point in terms of my confidence level. And so I'm still writing, I'm still learning, and then I'm growing in this speaking gift as well through the work of Toastmasters. And I remember putting in for HDI, and it was like the first time I was putting in for a major show, got rejected. Nothing but love for HDI. Put in for another show, got rejected. Totally okay. And I think that's probably most people's original experience, Erica, they didn't know my ability yet at all.
Yeah,
And so it was 2015 ICMI
I
was
was
the
there.
first one. And the reason that they took it is because I was doing a co-presentation with Neil Toff, who was a trusted, experienced speaker. And so that's where the floodgates open in terms of I fell in love with it. I mean, just the ability to get to bring with enthusiasm these things that I was learning, do it with a friend that I loved, Neil, and get to do it with the ICMI community. I mean, what an absolute dream come true. But, it took a couple of years for those things to line up to where ICMI or anybody would trust me to get up on the stage and do that. So, I'm grateful to Neil, grateful to ICMI for rolling the dice on me. Grateful to people like you and Justin, Erica, that would help me with my proposals and make sure that I was putting in something of relevance. So, and then from then on, it's just been never looking back. I'm still very much on a journey where I'm trying to grow and get better as a speaker. And I don't think that's ever gonna end.
Mm. No, I think that's why you're so good at what you do because you have that growth mindset, and I remember being there in 2015 at that conference and everyone on the ICMI team saying, "Oh my gosh, have you guys met this guy, Nate Brown? He's amazing." It was like a star was born, and now how full circle is it that you are the host and MC of this event that you just spoke at for the first time 10 years ago. It's so cool.
It was a
So
lot of fun, but
congrats
I
to
mean,
you.
Thank you, but I think, you know, looking back, was I a great speaker that year? No,
You had
but I think
confidence, though.
that's it. That's it, and I was so convicted in my own story in terms of I've gotta share this. So, like, the skill wasn't there yet. It was coming, hopefully, but it wasn't quite there, but, like, the fact that you all still looked at that and said, "This is somebody that deserves to be up there and that is really trying to help people be better in their jobs." And so
Absolutely.
I just love that, you know, most events think that way. You know, most events are very authentic in that way. They're looking to elevate the real ones who
Mhm.
are putting themselves on the stage for the right reasons to truly help people and not just elevate themselves, not just find a simple pathway to open up their own consulting business or whatever. You know, they're truly there to help folks. So I mean, Erica, you have grown so much in this area. What does this look like from your side?
It's funny because I don't even think of myself as a speaker, Nate, and
Oh, you are.
I remember last fall, you were kind enough to invite me to take part in the CX Day celebration that CX Accelerator hosted, and I I speak a lot at, like, ICMI and HDI events and
Yeah.
even Enterprise Connect now, because I work for Informa and we own those companies, so in my mind, for some reason, those don't count to me, if that makes any
Oh.
sense. So this CX Day event was, like, my first foray outside of a company hosted event, and I was super nervous, and I probably was overthinking, like, putting that presentation together, but I had a ton of fun, and I think it was kind of a full circle moment for me too, because I remember you and I, like, circa 2015 were kinda coming up in this space at around the same
Yeah.
time, and, I feel like I've just gotten much more confident over the years because of the support of this incredible industry and community, and because we have spaces like CX Accelerator where you can kinda cut your teeth a little bit and experiment and learn from others in a safe space, which is why I just love this community so much and why I love this topic so much because I think back to younger Erica when I was in my 20s and felt like I was physically gonna be sick if I had to get up on stage and speak, and I wish I could go back and give her a hug, um,
Oh,
and impart some wisdom, but I was lucky enough just a few weeks ago to be in Las Vegas at Enterprise Connect, and I got to meet Beth Reedy, who we're gonna have on the show today. She works for Black Rifle Coffee Company, and she was on a panel that I was lucky enough to moderate, and when I tell you she crushed it, my goodness. I had
oh,
one of those moments where it was like, "A Star Is
the
Born."
star's born.
I
I
knew that I was, like, witnessing someone who's gonna be up there on the main stage one day,
love
and I
it.
just felt so lucky to be a small part of it. But we were chatting after the session, and she was sharing how she set a goal to speak for the first time this year, and
Wow.
even in doing so, she felt nervous leading up to it, and I just she was such a natural, I never would have known. So I wanted to have her on the show today and talk about her journey into speaking and get some advice for others who maybe have been thinking about trying it, but they're hesitant to do it. So, Beth, we are so excited to welcome you to the CX Accelerator Show. How are you today?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys for
Welcome,
having
Beth.
me. Thank you, Nate.
Welcome, welcome. So, before we
Thank you.
jump into your speaking journey, do you want to tell us just a little bit about you and the work that you do?
Yeah, ready for some finger guns. So I'm Beth. I work at Black Rifle Coffee. I'm the head of CX here. I really drive our scalable customer experience journeys as well as our chatbot developments and stepping into the AI world a little bit with that. Love it, as if we didn't hear that every day, all day now. But yeah, I love CX and I love making a frictionless journey.
What a cool job.
Mhm. It's the best job. I absolutely love it, and we have non-biased, the best customers in the entire world, hands down. So very,
Good.
very lucky.
I saw a dude the other day wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt, and I was like, "I know your customer service director person, Beth," and I was so excited, and then I'm like, "I'm an idiot." There's like a million people wearing that shirt because you guys have created such an iconic brand in such a short time. I love to see it.
Thank you. I feel like that's one of the things that sets us apart is it's not just a product, it's a mission and a culture behind it. So people don't buy the product because it's a great product, but they buy it for the impact that it has. So I feel like that sets our CX apart a little bit.
Ugh. Well, any
And
great company that has a great brand promise and a great ethos like that, it's gonna come down to the customer service CX leader to make that promise a reality and to back up the truth of that. So you, Beth, you are the most strategic person in that organization in my eyes, whether they agree or not. But
Let me record that real quick. Like
give Beth
but
the
it's
reins.
awesome. Awesome how you're backing that up. And so, Beth, you and I got to do a coaching call about a month and a half ago,
we did.
and
I
I'm
was
just amazed at how big of a month and a half you've had. Um, I mean, your tone on that coaching call was one of just humility, and I did not sense a great deal of confidence in you at that time yet. And you were just kind of like, is this even a story worth sharing? And then to go from that to where you are now, having not only shared your story or part of your story, but shared it with such skill that you turned all these heads at Enterprise Connect. I'm just in awe. It's awesome.
thank
Yeah, she
you. I
crushed it.
appreciate that.
How did you get there, Beth? I mean, what are some of the things that happened from a month and a half ago to now that got you over the hump to where you stepped up there and absolutely killed it? What happened?
You and Erica. I mean,
It's all you
honestly,
that
Yeah.
this year, I mean, like Erica said, I had a goal for myself that I wanted to publicly speak. I felt like more than a checkbox, it was something that I needed to do for myself outside of Black Rifle. Even though I love them, I needed something that was for me and for my passion. And so I decided to bet on myself, and I self-nominated myself for the Women's in Communication Award.
Awesome.
Failed. It's okay. But I did get the Future Leaders Program, and
Yeah.
so I met Erica, and
Wow.
through that, there was the opportunity to speak. And like you said, I did not have confidence in it whatsoever. Still very much feel like I don't. But I called you vulnerable as heck. And I was like, help me. I don't know what I'm doing here. And then honestly, tunnel vision. Like as soon as I stepped into EC, it felt like home. And
Wow.
being on the stage with Erica and Hannah, like
That's
it felt
cool.
like home. It felt right to be speaking and sharing.
So you had
mm,
a couple others pouring into you as well. I know
Mhm.
Sarah
Yes.
was on site and Justin Robbins. So it sounds like you kinda really put yourself out there in terms of, "Hey, I'm an open vessel, and I'm excited to be developed, in this way." And it seems like that was a big part of your success here.
Yeah, I was really fortunate. I mean, everyone was so amazing. Sarah and Justin both, I mean, took the time to talk to me one on one, grab coffee with me, cry with me because Sarah's talk was so amazing.
Wow.
But it was incredible how warm and authentic they were and just social butterfly mode, not my natural state. But they were just so accepting and took me under their wing and was like, here are some things to work on. Here are some things that you did really great. And it helped knowing that you had a safe place in case it did fail, but of course it didn't fail. So, like, it was just nice having that support system.
I love to hear that. Can you take us through what was going through your head? So, A, when I reached out to you and asked if you'd be willing to speak, what was going through your head then? And then what about when you stepped off that stage?
When you reached out, the first thing in my head was, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." Uh, that was literally my only thought track, and then I screenshot it and I sent it to my boss, who's also one of my friends. I sent it to some of my other friends, and I was like, "I don't know if this is real or not, but I'm so freaking stoked right now."
Wow.
It was an immediate yes for me. And after I said, like, that knee jerk yes, I was like, "Oh my god, do I even know how to do this? Should I even do this? Is it worth doing this?" Because I only have, like, 6 years of experience in this area, not 20 plus, and it was a lot of, like, self-doubt and that imposter syndrome that you guys were talking about in the intro, and it was a lot of self-doubt. But as it went through and as I connected with you more and I connected with other people on LinkedIn like Nate and Rob more, I started realizing that the experience the years of experience isn't what makes it impactful, it's how much you love the area and the ROI that you show and the projects you dive into and your willingness to realize that it is just a journey and there's no destination. It's just how you're able to help people the most. And so after that, I realized this is what I love, and if I can talk on what I love, then I'm the happiest bee in the hive, like, I'm here to
Ah,
do it.
great
Oh,
metaphor.
what stands out to me about that is, like, how ecstatic you were to even be given the platform, and I think it's a good reminder for those of us that are in a position to give people their first shot and their chance to do it. Like, you never know how big of an impact you're gonna make in someone's life and their professional journey, but you also have a really good chance of uncovering a star in the industry. So I would just encourage anyone out there who has the ability to give someone a platform to take a chance and do it.
It's so good, Erica, and as you know, Erica, being a core leader inside of CX Accelerator, that's one of the core things that we try to do through our gatherings that we host around the country. We're trying to elevate multiple voices and perspectives. So I love your point, Beth, around contrasting the 25-year veteran versus the 5-year in the trench. The 5-year in the trench has me on the edge of my seat because I'm like, they're in it. They're in it. They're fighting and they're learning actively. They're still in it. And the 25 veteran person can be that way too, but so often that person's like, "Hey, I got this figured out."
Yeah.
And that's such a turnoff for me. I'm like, "You no, you don't. Maybe you did 15 years ago, but no, you didn't. There's no formula to this work. Like you got to wrestle through it and it changes every day in terms of the ways that customers arrive at their thoughts and expectations and perceptions. You don't get to come and tell me you figured out how to do CX. So somebody
Mm-mm.
like you, Beth, that's coming on stage and saying, I'm in the trench. I'm wrestling through. I'm figuring this out. This was a victory. Here's what we did. This was not like you've got me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
Agree.
I
I
feel
think it's such a gift to have that perspective from people that are earlier in their careers because try as we might, we are all guilty of having blinders on when we've been doing the work for too long. So I want to be hearing more stories from people like you, Beth. It's so valuable.
you. I feel like it just helps build trust a little bit too when you're talking to the audience because they know that you're going through the same struggle or you're fighting for the same seat at the strategy table or trying to figure out how to change all your amazing data points into a story that's actually digestible. And things that worked 15, 20 years ago are great foundations, but that's no longer how your executives or even your customers are thinking about it. And so especially with like the AI frontier and everything that's going on, like you have to be very agile in how you even tell the story. And so those were the ones that I found most impactful were the people who also are doing the work and not just reporting out what the work is doing.
Good
Well said.
distinction.
So when you wrapped up your first official speaking gig and you stepped off that stage, what was then going through your mind? And where do you
I
go
don't
next? What are you thinking about next?
the first thing out of my head was, I don't even know what I just said. Like it was just so tunnel vision.
Relatable.
Yeah. And then I think I looked to you and I was like, I hope I did okay. Like it was that self-doubt immediately, even though it felt like home, it felt so good to do it. I was like, oh my God, was that good enough? But it was an adrenaline high. I want to do it again. Can't wait to do it again. It
Will
felt
happen.
great. And I feel like even outside of that, it's so self-confidence building because I've come back to Black Rifle and I own the room now. Like we're
Yes.
listening to the customer data
Woo!
now. So like I think doing the scary thing is so life-changing professionally, but personally as
Wow.
well. So I
Oh,
can't say thank you enough for the opportunity.
goosebumps. Oh, I love to hear that. Nate,
Holy
I would certainly relate to what Beth is saying. How about you? Like, did you feel the same way when you finished your first speaking gig and do you feel like your confidence has grown since then?
so it's interesting you say that. I had a weird experience coming back into the organization after this amazing leadership program that I got to be a part of. And, like, I feel like I transformed into this other being in terms of just the way that I saw the world. And, it's and of course, I'm excited, and you know me, Erica, I get excited. You can tell, and I'm overflowing with either very positive or very negative energy. Like, there's very few days I'm in between. I'm coming at you with something. And I remember, like, I was too much to swallow for the organization. And there was one meeting in particular. I had just generated some pretty significant new data around the employee experience, and I'm sitting out here trying to share this data to a team of executives. It was like a literal executive roundtable session, and this one sales leader called me to the mat and just said, "I am so tired of you, Nate. Wishy-washy, all over the place with how you feel about working here. Like, what are you today? Like, do you wanna be here or not? Like, I'm just so tired of you being high as a kite one day, and then the next day coming in, and you're just Debbie Downer with information like this." And, like, for
Ouch.
one of the few times in my life, I was literally stunned silent. Like, I could not even respond to what was going on. And I what she was articulating was, I think, a little unfair because, like, I was presenting data. On the other hand, she was exactly right, and I was
Mm,
giving the entire company whiplash in ways that I couldn't see. Like, I just couldn't see how much my energy was up and down and how much it was impacting the people all around me. So, I've had to be very careful about when I'm up, when I'm high, making that shareable in ways where I'm activating others in a very helpful, positive way. I'm not
mm,
overwhelming them. I'm not coming at them too hard. Like, I'm genuinely helping to lift them up and to activate them. And when I'm having my lows, I have to find a way to not be as contagious as I was.
mm,
And that's been really that's been harder for me than the lifting up.
mm.
Um, But, there was a couple years there where I was really having to figure that out because I was swelling in confidence and growing as a speaker and having these great opportunities. The organization was not dealing well with the new Nate. And it took a lot of time for me to figure out the path there.
I think that's a relatable struggle that people don't talk about when it comes to the speaking journey, and I'm glad that you brought it up. First of all, I think you're one of the best people I know at lifting others up, so you've certainly nailed that
Thank
skill. It's
you.
very self-aware of you to even wanna work on that. But I was chatting with Bianca Price and I
Mm,
think Sarah Caminiti at Contact Center Expo last year about how I think especially for women who are speakers, as our confidence grows, it can be off-putting to people
yeah,
sometimes. I think
can be
it's
intimidating.
threatening to others that don't have that same level of confidence, and, um, like you, I think that's probably one thing that I wasn't prepared for, like, when you start to become more public facing and put yourself out there and speak more, it's an interesting phenomenon for sure. Beth, were you a part of that conversation? I can't remember. We were talking to Sarah Feldman too about how you just kind of have to step into your confidence and own it and know that the way other people react to it has nothing to do with you. It's about them.
It's a struggle. Definitely a struggle. I've been noticing that a bit since I've been back is like I have this new level of like energy and like abundance of like positivity that I want to share, but also this like confidence in myself now and like confidence that like we're pushing in the right way for our journey. Not everyone is digesting that as easily as I had hoped because I feel like, especially Erica, like you said, like as a woman, people get used to you at this certain level or in this certain aspect. And then when you start
Wow.
going out of that comfort zone, you get that rubber band effect where they're like, like, nope, like we love you as a leader. We don't love you as
Wow.
like a ripple effect. We don't love the waves that you create. We're very much happy in the status quo. And that's one of the things that I would love to share as a speaker is like the journey of how to navigate that because I feel like CX doesn't always have a direct seat at the table, but we have a very
Yeah.
large sphere of influence that if you play the game right, which I hate that phrase, by the way, don't know why that just came out of my mouth. But if you navigate that sphere of
Worked.
influence correctly and like powerfully, you don't really need the seat. Like you're already pulling the strings a little bit and doing what you need to do for your customers and your people.
Mm, gosh, amen to that, sister. It's
Wow.
again, I don't want to keep harping on it, but this is why I'm so passionate about that the experienced speakers cohort that we have at CX
Yeah.
Accelerated because not only are we empowering people to step up and kind of hone their public speaking skills, but I feel like beyond that, Sarah K. Manidi has curated this space where she is giving people permission to step into their own. and to own their confidence and to figure out what story it is that they wanna be sharing with the world and just empowering people to do that, and I think that's so powerful.
I think we'll need to bring back to Sarah, because she's got this brilliant process that kinda culminates with you speaking. I don't even know if we've considered postmortem, like navigating the after effects of a successful speaking engagement and what that does around you and to you. That's a critical part of this process.
It is. Gosh, we could have a whole other episode on this, Night.
Yeah. We we gotta shout out Sally Mildred here. So the first iteration of the CX Accelerator podcast was the Bring Your Own Chair podcast, which was totally Sally. She thought of that. She did everything with it, but it was what Beth just said. When Beth, you just said, Nobody needs to give me the chair." I brought the chair. And people aren't ready for that. They think they have to give you the chair for you to have the voice, and you're out here like,
No,
"No, I
you're gonna
brought it.
scoot over. You're gonna make room. Like,
That's
Yeah,
awesome."
we have to have that mindset in CX. I've had that conversation with so many people lately where there's, like, this frustration of, "Well, we're not getting included, we're not getting invited to these meetings."
Woo!
You gotta invite yourself.
That's good.
yep.
That's
Do
really
you know
good.
how many calendars I have creeped on to see what meetings I'm not in to add myself? You're making
Wow.
room. Like,
I love it.
That's a level I've never experienced, Beth. Wow. I like it. Well, we are just, so proud of you, Beth. It's all you. You've got so many gifts that need to be shared in our space. You've got such a wonderful story, Beth, and we're just so excited for you for what you're doing.
Agreed.
oh, I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are so sweet. The highlight of
Oh,
all of this is just the connections making.
we're like one big happy family over here, truly, and we're glad
We
you're
are.
part of it. Before before we let you go, I'm curious, like, one last thing, do you have any bit of advice or quick tips for someone who's maybe listening and they're in your same shoes? They've got a goal to speak, but they're feeling nervous about putting themselves out there.
Feel like it's so cheesy, but just do it. Like, just bet on yourself. Like, the worst thing that's going to happen is someone tells you no, or you fudge up what you're going to say. But you know what? It's for 30 seconds and you move on and you just pick yourself up. But at least you did it. And then you can do it again and it gets easier and better. So just do it. And that's the biggest thing.
Mm, preach.
Thank you, Beth. Well, we so appreciate you jumping on for this early episode of our show. We got some great episodes coming up. We've got a practical use cases to AI think is our next episode, Erica. We're going to have Justin and Jeannie on, two recent authors, with two great books. So we're excited to do that. And Erica, I was thinking before this, we were planning this episode. I was blown away by that thread in CX Accelerator Slack around the mistakes that we make as CX professionals.
Yes.
And I really feel like we need to do an episode on that. So, some great things to come. So keep following along. Until next time, thank you, everybody. Cheers.